Hi, greeting, fellow sleuths. Want to look at season 2 of Nancy Drew continues on with the Purloined Keys. In a ballroom, guests and staff lay on the floor covered in blood and broken decor. Nancy walks over to them as she observes the death. At the center of it is Everett, who slices her throat with a knife. Nancy lets out a scream and wakes up in bed, screaming as she grips her throat. Cressler rushes in to comfort her that's just a nightmare. Nancy picks at her breakfast in silence as Carson asks if she wants to talk about the nightmare. He asks if she's changed her mind about telling Everett the truth, but that's still the plan. She assures him that she's just playing a role while Nancy Drew is tucked away inside her. At the Claw, Everett, Bess, Ryan, George, and Valentia discuss how they plan to take out Everett with the help of the company's accountant, Howard. Howard talks to Nick about a black crown of tape that shows Everett committing a murder. When the boys and Valentia leave, Bess asks Ace about her dating profile picture so she can move on from Odette. Ace accidentally let it slip that Anne gave George a dire warning. Nancy notices a photograph of Everett and Josiah. When she enters the meeting area, she is greeted by Everett, and Celia won't be joining them. Nancy is prepared to leave, but Everett wants to hire her for a job. He wants to give her a chance to demonstrate her loyalty. He wants her to find out who his accountant Howard has been leaking confidential documents to. She agrees to work with him. At the breaker, Amanda helps Ryan, George, and Val find Howard's room, though he isn't answering. Ryan bribes her to open the door, but they find that the room is empty. The bathroom door is locked. Ryan and Nick push through to find Howard's corpse on the floor. Ryan finds pills on the bathroom counter when Amanda calls police. Valentia wonders if someone killed Howard and faked the apparent suicide. Nancy goes to ask if Howard Driscoll is his source, as everyone wants her to look into the situation. Nixon disbelieved that Nancy was working with Everett, but she explains that Howard shared a piece of information that was important. Nick lies that he hasn't connected with Howard since their meeting. Celia joins Nancy outside, and Nancy tells her about Everett asking for her help. Celia tells her to meet at a flower shop later. At the Claw, Valentina wonders if she's been stood up by Celia again. Bess asks her to look at her profile for a second. George overhears her and wants to tell her to be herself. Bess believes she's unswipeable. Ryan tells Ace that Howard visited an inmate at Seabury Prison according to his guy. He also gives Ace some money to give to Amanda as a thank you for helping them. Ryan thinks the inmate can help them, though the inmate is Bertram Bobbsey, Gil and Amanda's father. At the Drew house, Carson warns Nancy that she'll regret opening a package from Everett. Inside are Howard Driscoll's ID and passports. A presses kid pulled him away from the Hudsons when Nancy was born, which is why she went to Europe. He suggests that she go to witness protection. She finds an email from an inmate at Seabury Prison about missing payments. She refuses to stop while Nick and Ryan are left unprotected. She arrives at the prison where she finds Nick and Ryan, who are worried about her leveraging too many loyalties. Ryan tells her that Howard Driscoll is dead and that it's a convenient suicide. Nancy worries Everett might come after Nick and Ryan next. She thinks Bertram, the Hudson family's former groundskeeper, might have the answers they need. They refuse to work with Nancy and explain that Amanda is already inside talking to her father. Ryan tells her to step away from the situation, but she snaps that he doesn't know her at all. Amanda and Ace meet with Bertram. She offers a meeting with Gil for information about his previous visit. Meanwhile, Nancy tries to bargain with the guard as he owes her a favor, but he insists he can't do anything. She asks about Howard Driscoll and learns that he was upset over not being allowed to take a pen and pad inside. She thanks him and leaves. Inside, Ace and Amanda press Bertram for information about the black crown tape. They try to get to its hiding spot would go against nature. Bertram reveals that every time Everett tried to destroy the tape, it would reappear, so Everett hid it. He warns her not to look any further as she knows too much already. At the Claw, Amanda empties the box full of keys that her father held onto from each of his jobs. Ryan recognizes the key to his high school Porsche. Nancy calls Ryan to ask about Howard's notebook, but he doesn't know what she's talking about. She warns that she will be angry if she learns they took a notebook from a murder scene, which Ryan assures her they didn't. They didn't take anything. Nick steals the phone and hangs up as he can't risk anything getting back to Everett. Nancy wonders where Howard's car is. Elsewhere, Valentina answers a call from Ryan. He asks her to check the hotel for a notebook. Nancy arrives at the breaker and locks Howard's car up with his phone. She searches the car and finds a notebook and a notepad in the glove compartment. Valentina confronts her as she's leaving the car. Nancy warns Valentina that she started this mess and might have already got someone killed. Valentina tries to grab the notebook, so Nancy throws it into the car and locks it with the phone. Nancy looks at the photos that she took of the notebook and finds the Hudson Hunting Lodge. Bess calls to ask about her shift that afternoon, and Nancy reveals that she found the location of what Nick and Ryan want really badly. Bess asks the black crown tape and asks where she found the location, but Nancy rushes Bess off the phone. Bess worries that Nancy used her for information, while George is annoyed that Nancy skipped another shift. Bess asks if George wants to talk about Aunt May, but she doesn't. Bess wants to delete her profile, but George tells her to delete the latest draft, which is a beautiful draft that Odette and George wrote together. George promises to come to Bess if she's ready to talk. Meanwhile, Nancy meets Celia and asks about the black crown tape. Celia thinks she knows about Nancy, says something isn't right. She obviously says she's kept other secrets and worries she's jeopardized Nancy's safety, which makes her a poor grandmother. Nancy assures Celia that she is playing her part. Celia is stressed about the flowers, and Nancy volunteers to talk to Lily. Elsewhere, Nick and the group meet to talk about Bobsy, the tape, and the payments to former employees that kept them quiet about what they might have seen. Ryan sees the key with the greenhouse on it. They debunk that the secrets might be in the family mausoleum. At the Drew house, Nancy prepares for her party whenever it calls her. She tells him that Howard died and about the entry before his death, though she can't figure out the numbers yet. He tells her to focus on who gave her the numbers to and hangs up. She realizes that Everett knows what the numbers mean and just wants the contact's name. She picks up the dress that Tom gave her for the party. She goes downstairs to Carson, who remarks on the dress. He wants her to be safe, but she presses that she's trying to keep everyone alive, including herself. She's sick of people doubting her when she knows what she's doing. He assures her that he does trust her, but he's worried. He takes a photograph of her before she leaves. She realizes that Nick and Ryan are about to walk into a trap. Ryan, Nick, and Valentina arrive at the mausoleum, and both men reject calls from Nancy. Ryan looks the crypt and uses their phone's flashlight to navigate. In Sarah Virginia Hudson's crypt, the Val worries about curses. Laura Hudson was cremated, but there's no dust that confuses Nick. Nancy rushes in telling them to stop, but they don't. A camera inside the gym captures Ryan and Val's faces. Outside, Nancy goes off with everyone answering her calls after she spent all day trying to make sure this didn't happen. Now, everyone knows that Val and Ryan were looking into the tape. Nick argues that the tape was important, but Nancy counters that, of course, and removed the tape the second he thought Howard was leaking information. Now, Ryan and Val are next on his hit list. Ryan knows that everyone heard both of them. Nancy tells her to leave town not to make contact with anyone. Nancy thinks Celia can convince Everett not to hurt Val and Ryan. Nancy arrives at the party to talk with Celia, who is acting strangely. Nancy knows she isn't dressed and follows her to the basement. She finds blood on the floor from a body dripping. Looking up to see Celia's body hanging from the ceiling. She rolls around and Celia begins to scream. Celia is horrified by the discovery of her murder. Nancy realizes she's been dead for 12 hours and that she couldn't stop talking about Everett. She spirals that Everett is ahead of her and killed his wife for lying. She knows she can protect everyone, but she can't. Celia comforts her and apologizes for everything. She can't stay, but Nancy begs her to stay. With Celia gone, Nancy approaches the corpse. At the claw, Ace gives burner phones to Valentina while the Drew crew prepares a box for Val to take. Ryan gives her money to help her hide, as he won't be coming with her. He plans to stay and fight this, but when it's safe, he'll come for her. He refuses to lose another woman he cares about. They kiss. Aww. Elsewhere, Everett watches the tape and tells the guards to take care of Val. He gets into a limo where Nancy waits for him. Carson looks at the photo of Nancy and sees that she's covered in marks, scratches. Nancy tells Everett that he shouldn't be worried about Howard or the source. She was next to him and warns that he should be worried about her, his granddaughter, and tasers him. She covers his face with a bag and tells Gil to drive. Dun dun dun. So let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. Tom Swift is indirectly mentioned in this episode. His name is also seen on the card for Nancy's dress. The word taser is an acronym for Thomas A. Swift Electronic Rifle, as the inventor, Jack Hover, was a fan of the Tom Swift novels. There was purposely had Nancy use a taser for this purpose. This episode was live tweeted by Catherine DeSavino and Jesse Stern via the Nancy Drew Writers' Room. Teasing Everett in the back of the limo was Kenny McMahon's favorite part of the episode. Kenny McMahon teased the episode by saying that her, quote, jaw was on the floor, end quote, when she first read the script. When Nancy's talking to the prison guard about how he owes her for saving his niece's life on the ski slope, that's a reference to The Mystery of the Ski Jump, which is the 29th Nancy Drew book. It was retitled Mystery of the Ski Jump for the revision in 1968. So I think this episode is pretty interesting, and yeah, something tells me that, maybe Celia's using Nancy to get revenge on Everett or whatever, but I don't know, so there's that. So overall, I give the Purloined Keys 4 Deerstalkers out of 5. Anyway, tune in as we till the next episode, The Judgment of the Perilous Captive. So until then, remember everyone, the game's afoot.